Very pleased to welcome everyone here tonight, particularly pleased to have Martin Packard here to speak to a Lobby for Cyprus seminar. It's another seminar we've put on for the Cyprus Week at the Theatro Deknis. This week commemorates the anniversary, the 35th anniversary of the brutal events of 1974, which led to the invasion of Cyprus by Turkish forces. We're very fortunate to have Martin here tonight because he's going to be speaking about his recent book called Getting It Wrong.
For various reasons called Getting It Wrong, but I'm delighted as well, A, to be here, and B, that the book finally has seen the light of day after grinding through it. This was an account that was, it's a development of account that was originally written for the British government and was then immediately suppressed and hidden, and nobody has seen anything more of the report that I submitted in 1964. So this is an opportunity for people to begin to read about the reality of what happened, which is very different from the picture that has been presented by most of the media and certainly by the British government. So I hope that the book will lead on. The book is called Getting It Wrong. I hope it will be read by many people and it will help to at least to develop discussion.
And for those who aren't here, how could they obtain a copy of the book?
The simplest way is through the publisher's website, and that's www.authorhouse.com. So www.authorhouse.com, and bought that way it costs about £16.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As you all will know, the purpose of Cyprus Week is to mark the 35th anniversary of the disastrous events of 1974, which led to the brutal invasion of Cyprus by Turkey and its continued occupation of more than 37% of the island of Cyprus to this day. We at Lobby for Cyprus are all volunteers. I'm just going to give some introductory remarks about Lobby for Cyprus. We're all volunteers, we're all fighting for the just reunification of the island. Our campaign is based on human rights. And it's based on three simple ideals, three straightforward demands, which we feel are realistic, and we don't feel we're asking for too much. We ask that the refugees be allowed to return to their homes. We ask that the occupying forces be removed from Cyprus. And we also ask and demand the removal of more than 140,000 colonists implanted onto Cyprus by Turkey to change its natural demographic status. We at Lobby for Cyprus are committed to restoring unity to our beloved island, but we all know how so many parties have failed us, particularly the British government and other Western institutions. They failed us for 35 years. They failed to take the necessary steps at the right times to restore basic human rights to all Cypriots. Now, putting tonight's talk into context, we all know how important it is to ensure that the Cyprus issue is put into proper and accurate historical context. It's important that everyone understands why the refugees want and demand to return to their homes, and why they will not simply accept compensation in return. I'm sure you've experienced it, I've experienced it on many occasions. I've had it recently with a prominent MEP who sat us down and told us, we Greek Cypriots, we must put history behind us. We must put it to one side. Yes, we want to move forward, but we will not accept double standards. This MEP then went to tell us what she felt was the correct historical narrative. We will not accept double standards. Those who tend to ask us to forget the past then try and revise history to fit their own objectives. I'm therefore, in that context, very pleased, but also very privileged to have these two gentlemen sitting beside me. As you know, the title of the talk tonight is Cyprus, Getting It Wrong, Getting It Right. We're starting with the Getting It Wrong on my left with Mr. Martin Packard, and on my right, Leon Frangeskides will be talking about the getting it right. Both these individuals are well known to us. Martin Packard MBE is a retired Lieutenant Commander of the Royal Navy and former intelligence advisor to the Commander-in-Chief of the Mediterranean Command section of the British Navy. And as we all know, he's also a keen chronicler of modern Cypriot history, particularly from his time on the island in the 63-64 period, when there was so much upheaval and distress between the two communities. And what Martin Packard does is give his own summary from first-hand experience of how the events of 63-64 were prompted and promoted by other powers. Now we all know, we all have our own views on this, but it's always important to hear somebody who was on the ground, actually an intelligence advisor to the British government at the time. Martin's here to talk about his book, the title of which is Getting It Wrong. It's a book that provides a unique and critical report on the events of Cyprus in early '64. It shows that Cypriots were ready, both sides of the equation were ready, all Cypriots were ready to try to find answers, if only they could be encouraged by external forces to do so. It's an important book, and I'm very much looking forward to Martin's commentary on that book. We also have some books here, I think, Martin, don't we?
A few, yes.
So I think most of them have got already, so they're obviously very popular. Martin has also commented on Cypriot events as they occur. One review he did, which always stuck in my mind, I'll just summarise it here, was of the book David Hannay wrote, Cyprus, A Search for a Solution, and you probably heard Martin's review of it. And I'll just read a section about Martin's comments on the book. David Hannay, Lord David Hannay, has written a very readable book. Sadly, though, it offers nothing of real value to the Cyprus debate. It will damage the Cypriot cause and maybe help out of London by diverting international attention from the reality of the problems that have been imposed on Cyprus. It also will strengthen a Cypriot view that Whitehall should cease to represent itself as a competent interpreter of Cypriot affairs. Lord Hannay was the wrong man to be involved in a search for solutions in Cyprus.